Hey, talkers. First thing first, we got to light the incense. Hey, talkers. Miss me? Because I surely miss you guys. I do have a drink, so grab a drink. Let's talk. Today, I'm basically going to have a real conversation with you guys. That's what we're going to do. We're going to talk for real. On the agenda, we're going to talk about why I'm revamping my show, why we're revamping the whole brand, and what's about to happen, basically. All right? So, Qui Talks, have gone through life and back. Yes, I'm still living. The reason why I decided to revamp my show is because I am not the same person that I was when I first started Qui Talks. So if you have been following me since 2012, yes, I've been in season since 2012. If you have been following me for the past 10 years since my first speaking gig, I am not the same person. I don't look the same. Dreads. I don't act the same. I don't speak the same. And my brain does not operate the same way, if that makes sense, right? Okay. So I decided that I wanted to brand the show around who the new, improved, I guess, the me of Qui Talks is. I didn't feel comfortable keeping it in the same route. Not saying that I was going in a bad route, but I just wanted to be more intentional with the show this year, hence my vision boards. But this one is last year and this one's this year's vision board. This is my audio people. If you look at the video, you'll be able to see the vision boards. I just feel like I'm 32. When I first started the show, I was 22. And I am not the same. I cannot say, no, you guys cannot say you are the same person you were at the age of 22 to the age of 32. So for those who have not been following my journey, Qui Talks first started as a fashion talk show. It was more so I attended fashion events and I talked about what happened on the red carpet. So for those who don't understand how I went from fashion to celebrity to this now, I didn't have any plans on becoming a correspondent, a reporter, or any of that sort. That was not in the books for me. My plans were to be a designer, to be a stylist, to be in the fashion industry. That is what I wanted to go to school for, and that is what I initially went to school for. This life of mine came about my senior year of college, where I was asked to cover a NFL pop-up shop. As many as you guys have heard my story, I was asked to cover an NFL pop-up shop about what football players wear off the carpet. Well, not the carpet, but off the field. I was not having any plans or I didn't have any vision of becoming QTV Qui Talks. I was known as Styles by Q. Okay. Qui Talks was a stylist and it was Styles by Q. It's so funny as I sit back and I really have these conversations with friends and family about where I've started and where I am right now. As a child, which I actually completely forgot about this, but as a child, I used to be on local TV. Those local cable channels, the ones that only airs within your vicinity of your living area. I started out there. I was asked to be part of a group of kids where they would put us in a round table or a circle and they would pose questions to us and we would just all give our opinion. And we also performed together for the Haitian Flag Day for our Haitians. And we just did that. It was just more of us just showing up, talking, and then practicing. That was it. We literally showed up an hour before the show. No, I'm lying. We showed up about 30 minutes before the show aired. We would have the show, and then practice would be right after the show. That's what it was. Me becoming a reporter and being on TV? No, not at all. Fast forward, get to high school. I was working in the main office as an elective. You had to fill your schedule, and there were certain things that you would have to help out with. Either you're working with the guidance counselor, the main office, or whatever it was that they had you do or they put on your schedule. I don't know how I ended up in the main office. All I know is that I had to work at the main office in the 10th grade. Me working in the front desk with the receptionist, I always saw like the group of kids that would come in after the bell rang to be able to do the morning announcements. And I was approached and they asked me, hey, why don't you join this this crew right here and do the announcements with them? Because they really didn't have much work for me to do. That I believe that was the truth. It was that, okay, we have this high schooler here. We don't really have much for her to do besides file. And then when I'm done filing, I'm literally sitting there in my books. So they'll say, hey, join the crew, do morning announcements. Now, for my people who went to high school with me, this was something in the beginning I was terrified of. I stuttered. I had a list. Well, I was working on my list by then. I also was not, I was not your public reader. So we all know your public readers. So you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I was not the type of person that did very well with that. So when they asked me to do it, I stumbled the first couple of weeks, maybe months. But they kept making me do it anyway. Even though I didn't want to do it, they kept forcing me. No, you'll get better. You'll get better. You'll get better. And eventually I did. I got better. So the next year came around, like my 11th grade year, my junior year, I became an expert. So now I was the one who was running the crew while my seniors who were there last year graduated. So now I was the more experienced announcer or whatever it is they called it. I started doing that and it just became fun after a while. I liked it because I was also a cheerleader. So I was already the it girl in school in terms of cheerleading and getting involved in a bunch of other things. So I was already involved in a bunch of things in school. So this was just another accolade, you can say, that I wanted to just leave on my resume for school. Senior year, did it all for the 3 years in high school. And it was just something for fun. When I thought it was over after graduating, then getting approached by my boss as a fashion stylist and he wanted to start his show. And now I'm on the red carpet at the NFL pop-up shop interviewing blah, blah, blah. I was just like, wait a minute. Wait, how did I get here? There was no plan. If I had plans on this, I would have went to school for communications. I would have went to school for journalism. I would have went to school to do anything of that sort if I knew that this was the direction I was going in. Definitely did not have any plans on this, but I was just like, you know what? God put it in my Rolodex, so let me just have fun with it. So it became something fun, you guys. I was still in school for fashion. I was still trying to go to LIM. I was still trying to go to all these other post-grad schools to try to get into the fashion industry. I was still working with New York Fashion Week. I was still doing all of this stuff because fashion was it. I just ended up taking this broadcasting with it, the correspondent work with it, because it gave me access to bigger events and better events. It gave me access to the celebrity life. It gave me access to the magazines that I couldn't get internships with, but apparently they wanted QTV there. That was when I was called QTV then. So I was just like, okay, cool. Why not? Let's do this. And I had all these PR companies and everybody raving about how great I am and you're doing a good job. I need you here. I need you there. Why not? Who wouldn't? Like, you get to hang out with celebrities in your 20s. Who wouldn't? So it didn't turn real to me until I decided to turn this into a real business. That's when things really started hitting the fan, because this was me attending events till now. Attending events and doing red carpet interviews is not lucrative. There is no money in it. So all of my correspondents that know exactly what I'm talking about, please comment below and preach below, because a lot of people do not understand that there is no money in pursuing this kind of dream unless you figure it out. And if you figured it out, let me know. Besides the subscription fees and advertisement and all of that, the video stuff. Going to these events do not pay for anything. You're literally going to give yourself notoriety, but also it's like that one hand washes the other. I invite you to this event, so now you give me this promotion. You get what I mean? With that being said, I decided, okay, you know what? Let's turn this into a business. Let's do the real thing. Let's really turn this into something. Let's create a website. Let's do this. Let's do that. I started becoming a celebrity blogger. I became one of those people that was doing the gossip stuff when gossip was a thing, Nicole Bitchy was a thing. If you are my age, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now you don't really see these gossip sites out unless you're looking at Hollywood Unlocked or The Shade Room. So before they were something, the people like Gossip and Nicole Bitchy and all of that stuff, they were the it blogs. So I joined the realm and I was the QTV blog. So people started coming on my site. I was getting over 200,000 views daily to gossip about celebrities. Then I got bored. I started realizing, wait a minute, I'm over here talking about these celebrity lives and my life is not that great, but I want to talk crap about somebody else. That's not me. That's never been me. That's not who I am, and that's not what I want my brand to be. Because that issue became a bigger issue that also took over my brand, I needed to go in a different direction. I needed to revamp myself. I needed to become something and someone brand new. So by the age of 25, 26, we'll say maybe 25, 26, I decided to revamp my brand. I didn't want to be QTV anymore for various reasons. Yeah, another drink on that, right? Just an FYI, you guys, if you've listened so far for this far, I am really giving you like the full insight with my life. I don't really talk much about my life. If you really know me, I'm very, very private. Very private. I don't like to talk about people. That's just it. My life is my life. You guys get to have Q Talks. I get to have Q Josen. Is that okay? It's like, I like to keep these two separate, but I want to be able to talk about this right now because I want to give you guys the insight as to why I'm revamping my brand and why I am going in a full different direction. And if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe right there. Because, I'm trying to build my followers and build my viewership and build all of that. So this is just the beginning of a brand new me. Okay, back to my story. Yeah, so I sat down and I was just like, what could I be called? I know I wanted to keep the Q in there because, one, not too many females are called Q. You mostly hear that with men. And then also I like the QUI aspect. That was just my thing. I love it. It's my name. Why not? And once you use your name, you don't really have to legalize it, right? So I used my name. I was like, what could I call it? What could I call it? What could I call it? And then somebody said to me, oh, when Q talks, everyone listens. That's my name. Q Talks. That's exactly what I'm going to call it. Sorry, the incense started falling over. I didn't want it to burn the couch. We good though. Yes, I was like, yeah, of course, Q Talks. Why wouldn't I call it Q Talks? It's my name and that's all I do is I talk. God gave me the gift of gab, so I might as well just use it, right? By then, I was still doing celebrity interviews. However, I wasn't happy while doing them. So I started doing less of them. And I was just like, this is not the direction I want to be in. I don't want to be in the celebrity realm. I don't want to be just interviewing celebrities only. I want to interview real people. I want to talk about real stuff. I want to be real. So I packed my bags and went to LA. Talk about that. You want to be real, then you pack your bags and go to LA. How real could you get in LA? My people who've been to LA know not that real. So I did just that. Packed my bags, moved to LA. Literally, the LA story is so funny. Quick, I'll tell you it very quickly. Went to LA for vacation, literally for a weekend, hung out with some friends, went to view an apartment, signed the lease, came back home, told my mom I'm moving to LA in 2 weeks. That is how I moved to LA. There was no real plan for it. I just wanted to do something different, and I'm a risk taker. And I'm the type of person that I'm learning now not to act so much on impulse, but still I like to act on impulse, because if I have that feeling in my gut, something is telling me to do it, I do it. I guess that's the learning that I've learned with discernment and not. But if something is telling me, my subconscious is telling me to do something, I do it. And I am ecstatic for following my intuition, because I would not be where I am right now if I did not follow my intuition. Despite my story, which I'll tell you what happened in LA. But so I packed my bags, went to LA. Literally within the first few days of being in LA, I met with a publicist. I attended red carpet events. I did a radio show. I got a publicist. I was just in there like swimwear. I was at everybody's event. So much for not covering celebrity, right? So I was attending every celebrity event and interviewing celebrities. So I wanted something different, but I ended up going somewhere different to do the same thing. How far would I really have gotten with that? In the midst of doing all of that, I was struggling, financially struggling. Again, there is no money in this industry when it comes to just interviewing people. I couldn't figure out how to put the pieces together to financially secure myself, because if I had to get a job, that wouldn't tell me missing certain events. Mind you, I am at an event every single day. I'm having cars come pick me up to go to this event. I'm getting calls at like 11:45 p.m. saying, hey, get dressed. I need you at an event. It starts at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was literally up and out every single day going to an event. I burned through my savings. I burned through everything because there's no money in this industry. All right. So I was at everybody's event, and then I died. Not physically, obviously, because I'm here. Financially, I was depleted. I couldn't figure out how to rub pennies together for rent. I couldn't figure out how to put A and B and C and D together. So I started I had to get a job. I had no choice but to get a job. But then because I had to get a job to be able to pay expensive ass rent and utilities in LA, that meant I had to put my dream on hold. The reason why I flew out, left my mama's home and flew all the way out to LA, I had to put a stop on that. So, of course, that didn't help. I wouldn't say it was, could have been depression. Would it have? It was a form of it. It was nothing like really deep, but there was a form of depression in there. I guess me being honest, I want to be honest with you guys. We're drinking and talking, right? So I think it was depression. So it was depression, because now I'm really thinking about it. I was crying many nights. I was just, you could see the happiness just dwindling away. My feeling of purpose started leaving me. My excitement for this industry or just being out there left. Like I wasn't happy. I was not happy. So then I decided, you know what, let me really focus on trying to get my career together. And I started trying to work again, trying to pick back up into the celebrity, going to the red carpets and doing all of that. But there was a change. Like I couldn't focus. I wasn't enjoying. You can see it in my face. I wasn't happy. So if you really go on my YouTube, I started documenting my life in California. There was really highs and there was really lows. And I was really honest in some of these videos. Actually, me rewatching my documentary that I made, I didn't realize I was really dwindling away. Like it wasn't good at all. It got to the point where things got so bad that I was actually homeless. I know I didn't tell much people about that, but I actually became homeless in LA. I didn't have anywhere to live. And when I finally did get money to find somewhere to live, it was hard to get an apartment. Let me tell you about racism in LA. It's bad. It is bad. Like, they really do put Black people in a box and find a way to keep them down. And that is very sad. Like, we hear it all the time, all racism in Hollywood and all of that stuff. But to actually physically experience it, that's hard. Like, that really beats on you. I didn't realize how strong I had to be until I had to be strong, if that makes sense. Because although we're here on the East Coast and, the Northeast especially, it's a different type of vibe in New York. We're really a melting pot. Yes, there is racism. I'm not going to say there isn't any, but it's less experience in New York because we're all blended in together. Like, we're all in the same area. If you walk out your door, you can see a Black person, a white person, an Asian, a Mexican, an Indian, all within 2 seconds. In LA, it's not like that. Literally, depending on what part of LA you're in, that is the culture you will see. If you're in Inglewood, you're going to see Black. If you're in Culver City, you're going to see white. If you're in little Ethiopia, you're going to mostly see Ethiopians. If you're in Chinatown, it really is a very segregated state. And I understand why they have so many issues that happen, racism, LAPD and all of that stuff. I understand why. Like, it makes more sense now. However, experiencing it is a completely different ball game. So now I had money. I was no longer really pursuing this career of mine that I flew all the way out here for because I couldn't financially afford it. And my time restraints now at this point, because now I'm working 2 jobs just to be able to afford rent and bills and utilities and so on and so forth. So I wasn't able to, and nor did I want to, truth be told. I wasn't happy. I wasn't me. I was revamping me because by then I actually really started getting into church. Now, here's the thing. I grew up in church. I went to Catholic school. I was in Catholic school for 10 years, and then went to public school, but I was still a Catholic. However, there was a point in time, like right before I left for LA. It's so ironic that my mother and we just kept talking about leaving the Catholic Church because, although we grew up in it, we knew the whole ritual. We knew the Psalms and all of that stuff that you actually learn to memorize. It wasn't fulfilling me, if that makes sense. Like, nothing against the Catholic Church. Loved my Catholics. My dad is still Catholic. I have other religion in my family. It wasn't for me anymore. I needed more. So ironically, I decided let's do another gig, right? So I was sent to do a gig at the YouTube space in LA. So there's like this YouTube area for my YouTubers that know, but YouTube has an actual location. New York has a location, LA. I'm not sure if they have any other. They possibly do, but the ones that I've been to is mostly LA. They have a space for the creators. Now, this was before YouTube creator thing was such a big thing now. You were still, once you become a YouTuber, the amount of followers you had to have to attend this is not as extensive as it is now. 10,000 followers would get you a credential or get you in with the YouTube space. If it is still the same, great, perfect. If it's not, I'm not sure what it is now because I'm not part of it. Soon I'll be. So subscribe below. Basically, the YouTube space was just this area where YouTube creators go. They have different green rooms, filming rooms, different things for you to interact with. And this is before VRs were so big that now you could get them anywhere. Before that, you couldn't really get them much places. So I was able to experience this VR because they were teaching us about how VR and YouTube are going to interact and all of this stuff. It was a pretty cool event. It was basically just showing all the new things that they were going to do in this YouTube space. And ironic enough, I was online. Mind you guys, I am mentally battling who Qui Talks is. What am I doing out here in LA? Should I go home? What's the point? I need to talk to somebody. I don't know who to talk to. I need help. But I literally had to stuff that, deep down because you can't mix personal and work together. And when I'm Qui Talks, I'm technically a completely different person. Not really, because I'm Qui Talks right now and I believe that I'm the same. But there is a difference, especially in the way I speak. Yes, I talk like this, but I don't talk like this all the time. But yes, I do talk like this. It's not too far off, but it's still far off a little bit. But I don't let my personal interfere with Qui Talks because this is a brand. This is something I've worked on. This is my baby. I've been doing this for a while. Ironic enough, I'm online and I'm waiting to get in and I'm just looking at the time and I'm just looking because I also have to go to work. And I'm trying to think, should I stay? Should I go? What's the point of I was in my mind. I was like deep in it. I wasn't thinking of anything. And some white lady taps me on the shoulder and she starts talking to me. She's like, oh my God, who are you? What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And I just go on. Yeah, hi, I'm Qui Talks. The whole spiel. And we just start talking. Then we get into the event. And she becomes my tour buddy because she tells me that she's with a production company. They're all here together. I was invited there because my publicist got me access into this event. And that was another thing. I was able to get to almost any event in LA because my publicist had pulling with everybody. So I get into the event and I just hang out with this woman. Like, she's the one who's walking me around. She shows me to the production company. She does this, she does that, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And then we just somehow, I don't know how, me and this white lady started talking about church and talking about God. Now, you would have thought that she was a Jehovah's Witness because how did we get into this conversation at a YouTube event, right? All I know is that by the end of the conversation, this lady has invited me to her church, how she's in the choir, and she would love me to come as a guest. Now, as a Black girl in LA that has faced racism, a white lady invites you to her church, you're thinking, okay, this is not the place I should be going at all. But something inside of me kept saying, you got to go to this event. Like, you should, this event. You have to go to this church. Like, you've been asking God that you need a church to go to. You need something, like, you need. It was random. It was like, okay, a random white woman invites you to her church. If that's not God, who is it, right? The devil, I know. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's go. We're going to go to this church. So I go to this church in Inglewood. The address is in Inglewood. I was like, okay, that for step one. White woman invites you to a church and the church is in Inglewood? Okay, cool. I was like, could it be a lynch mob? I don't know, but I'm just going to go because, like I said, I follow my intuition. My intuition kept telling me, my subconscious, everything inside of me is like, girl, go. Just go. You don't like it, you can always just sleep. Just go. Girl, I get into that church. It is a whole production, and it is a predominantly Black church. Now, for my churchgoers, if you guys are in LA, it's called Faithful Central. It is a really good church. I enjoy it. Every time I'm in LA, I always make it a point to attend every Sunday. I walk into that church and the gospel, like you have the whole gospel choir. The whole choir is on the stage and they're just clapping. You have people dancing up and down the aisle. And as soon as I get in, they're like, oh, you're blah, blah, blah. Cause she was texting me. She was like, hey, when you come in, come to the left. Well, come to the right, all the way to the front. There's some people that will greet you. They know you're coming, blah, blah, blah. People greeted me. They greeted me. Just like, come over here. Come sit with us. Black people. I was like, that was literally my face. Like, wait a minute. So I'm like, okay, great. We're going to go into this church. We go in and I am over here singing. I'm in the spirit. Holy Spirit just activated all in me. Like, I'm like listening. I'm intuitive. I'm just like into the gospel, into the word. I'm just like, oh my God, yes, Bishop Omer. Yes, too. Yes. That's his name, by the way. Yes. I'm just like, what? God, are you talking to me? Because he was literally like talking directly to me. All I know is by the end of service, you know, when they call people up and be like, oh, if you need Jesus, blah, blah, blah. I was there. I needed Jesus. I was up front crying my life away, all of that. And I just knew, I was like, something's about to change. I don't know what it is, but something is about to change. I started going to church and Bible study 3 times a week. So church was on Sundays and Wednesdays because they had a regular Sunday service. Wednesday was the evening service when you feel like it's midweek and you know a lot has happened from Sunday to Wednesday and you still need to go hear the words, keep you through for the rest of the week. I was going to church then. And then on Thursdays was Bible study. I was in Bible study. I became that church girl 3 times a week for at least a year. Like, I was just like, God, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what is going on. I am legitimately living in my car. Well, by then I was about to be living in my car. I don't know. And at this point, I'm just going to keep moving in your direction. So come January 2018, I do my first Daniel fast. This was my first time ever hearing about a Daniel fast or even experiencing what a Daniel fast consisted of. But I decided to do the Daniel fast because I needed a new direction. I needed something different. And all I know is that by the end of that Daniel fast, exactly that last day, the last day it ended, I'll never forget this, is that within that last week, I should say, let's start with the whole week. That last week of the Daniel fast, I moved out of my apartment, became homeless because by then I was living in my car. I was showering and getting dressed at work because I had clients and all of that stuff. So I was homeless, living in my car. And all I know is the last day was the Super Bowl. I went out with some friends, ended up at a friend's house. The friend's house that I was at, they didn't know I was homeless. So if they're watching this, they're going to be shocked too. Because that was something I didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew I was living in my car. I kept that to myself. This is actually the first time I'm actually broadcasting this for the first time. So, yep. Another drink. I'm not ashamed of it now. I'm grateful for it because I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't go through it. I also made it a point never to look like your problem. So that's what they told me in the Bible. Put oil on your face. No, don't let them know you fasting, and never look like your problems. So I made sure I didn't look like my problems because I just knew God was moving in my life. Something was changing. Back to the story. So the last day of that fast was the Super Bowl. Went to these friends' house. Bruh. I don't know what came over me. All I know is that we were all sitting at a high top. You know, the kitchen islands were all around the island on the high top. And I just felt like, I'm going to tell you exactly what I felt and what I thought happened before I tell you what really happened. All I know is that I started getting thirsty. Like I really needed some water. So I go and I ask my friend, tell my friend across the table, across the island, hey, can you give me a glass of water or get me some water? I really need it. And all I know is that I grabbed the water, and there was another friend of mine who was sitting right here, and I went to him and I was like, hey, can I just have a seat? I really don't feel good. I just need to have a seat. I went and I had a seat and I just put my head down. And then when I woke up, I just saw people looking at me. Now, that's what I thought happened. What really happened, I asked for a glass of water. Apparently, somebody was looking at me. Everybody was staring at me. I did not look okay. This is what I heard. I did not look okay, and I just started to fall backwards. And by the time I went to go grab the water, fell, and I just fell backwards and passed out. I could not be making this up. If my friends who were at this Super Bowl party, they will verify the truth for you guys. Yeah, I passed out. And when I woke up, I just saw everybody's face looking at me. And I was like, what happened? They was like, yo, you passed out. You've been out for a good 2 minutes. I was like, what? When? How? What? Like, I've never passed out ever in my life. When I say never, I never passed out in my life. This was the first time ever. I get up and I sit down. I call my mom. I'm crying, but then I'm trying not to cry because I'm across the country and I don't want to frighten her because my mom is a hysterical person. She's a mother. I love her. That's my mom. She cares about us deeply, me and my sister. But I tell her what happened just in case, something does happen. Again, she's aware of it. And she's hysterical. She's like, you need to go home. What's going on? Well, she tells me I can't go home because by then my mother didn't even know I was homeless. So I was just like, she was like, you need to go to your friend's house. You have to stay with your friend, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Blase, blase. So that's what ends up happening. I end up going, I stay over one of my friend's house, and I wake up and I'm just still in awe, still shocked, like dumbfounded about what transpired. Like, I cannot believe I passed out. Like, that was the first time I ever passed out. And so that happened. And then I just knew, I kid you not, that next day I was like, my life is about to change. Things are about to be different. And things became different. I ended up getting an apartment. It was a really funny situation, okay? Let me tell you about this situation real quick. I get an apartment because I really needed this apartment. I accepted this apartment and the rent was, on my portion, how much was my rent? $1,100. Okay, $1,100 was my rent. That included just the water and the gas. So the cable, there was no cable, but the electricity, that was something we also had to pay for. So in able for me to move into this apartment, I had to get my name on the lease. So I had to show all my pay stubs, the whole nine. So I go and I sign this lease. As I'm signing the lease, I see the rent says $1,700, right? And I asked the landlord, I was like, is that my portion? Because, what I was told was $1,100. She was like, no, that's the whole entire rent. So home dude that I moved in with was trying to play me. So here's the thing, because I needed this apartment from being homeless, I accepted. I still signed the lease. I really, nowadays, there ain't no way. It wasn't gonna happen. I still signed the lease. But I made it a point where I told him, you're paying electricity. Who? Right? So that was that. Fast forward, when for me to leave this apartment, home dude started telling me that I owe him rent. No, I owe him 2 months of rent additional to the deposit. 2 months of rent that had nothing to do with me. I guess he had back pay for some other rent. But and then he tells me I owe a deposit. That's a whole nother story, bruh. I could sit here all day and tell you about this, but not now. Fast forward. I go and I end up moving in to the apartment. And now I finally have back to having my own bedroom and my own bathroom, because in LA, majority of their apartments are roommate styles. I start to try to get back into the whole Qui Talks thing, but it wasn't it. Like, something wasn't right. Like, I didn't want to be on video anymore. I didn't look the same way I looked. I wasn't this. My smile wasn't this anymore. And I just wanted to talk about my life. So this is when podcasts started becoming a thing. I started recording myself on my recorder, my little recorder, which I'm using right now. So I didn't even have a mic. I'm lying. I did have a mic. I had those handheld mics that you plugged in because, I was on the carpet. So I just plugged in my mic and I just recorded myself. I just started talking about, if you listen to season 1 of my podcast, you'll realize it's just me venting. I literally was just venting. That's it. I was just talking about nonsense. I'm not going to say nonsense. I was speaking about real life stuff that was happening to me, but I just didn't have anyone to talk to. So I created a podcast out of it. And then things just started moving. Like, the podcast ended up on iHeart. I was on Spotify. I was in church 3 times a week. I was like, things were just going so well. Like, it was just like, God, yes. Like, okay, now I'm moving in. Now I'm feeling comfortable with who Qui Talks is becoming. Now I'm not trying to be in every celebrity event or no, it was just, I did things on my own terms and my own time. So that was great. Things were phenomenal. I even was able to come back home. I attended my sister's wedding when I went back to LA. So me coming back home, in 2018, 2019, I came home for 2 months. No, I came home for 3 months. Yeah, I came home for 3 months. And I refreshed. I was just like, when I'm home, I have no more rent to pay. I was just like, God, I'm home. My mom did say I lost a lot of weight, to the point where I did kind of look sick. I'm not gonna lie, I was broke. I was poor, but she didn't know that. I wasn't, this mama, you gotta secure her so she's not out here thinking anything bad is happening, although a lot of bad things are happening, but you cannot tell her that. So now I'm just home, I'm relaxing, and I had to go back to LA in October. End of September, October. I went back to LA, stayed there for a month, and I had to leave things just started going bad again. I was like, oh no, I got to pack up my stuff and I just got to go. And I guess God heard my prayer because he was able to get me out. I gave my apartment to somebody else. I was able to transfer the lease. Thank you, Jesus. And I got out. I was gone. And then I came home. And then I decided to get a real job. I decided to put Qui Talks to rest. I was like, this ain't working. Can't make a living out of this. Let's put this to rest and let's get into the marketing that you went to school for. I started doing the marketing, but then I would see like Fashion Week happen. I would see other people with red carpet events in New York City. I'm in New York now. I would see like watching some of my friends attend events and cover them. And I got sad. I got very sad. I was just like, I don't want to do this. And then what made it worse is that although that was happening and I'm in my marketing industry and I'm like, okay, I'm doing something that I like. I do love marketing. Marketing is something I would do. That's what I went to school for. That's what I wanted to do. Well, I really want to do fashion marketing, but okay, I'm in marketing. It's okay. By then I thought the fashion industry was about to die off, but it didn't. Why would fashion die off? Where did that come from? I don't even know why I thought that. Like, why would fashion die off? But anywho, I started working for a company. And let me tell you about the marketing industry, y'all. Marketing industry, unless it's grown now, has about 6% minority in it. 6%. So that means me, as a Black woman, is at the bottom of the barrel already in life. But in that industry, I am at the pit bottom, right? So you have that. And then the people who are at the top of that industry.
Common denominator of these guests are, and we'll leave it dot. They're white people. Baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love my white people, but it's the white women. And although I have a plethora of white friends, and I love my white people, there are a selected few that really make it hard for us. Really hard. I don't know why. If we all knew, then we would be able to explain racism. I don't know. But I just felt as if I was trying to come up in an industry that kept doing this to me. Like, literally. And I just got tired of it. And it would be like, I express myself, express my ideas, express this, express that. And it's just like, all right, cool. Say less. So I quit. Yep. Yes, I did. I quit. December 2019, I quit. Did I know COVID was going to happen? Absolutely not. Did God know? Absolutely he did. But I quit. And I decided to go into business for myself, right? Best thing I did. So now I have my business that I started. And I started thinking about Qui Talks. Yeah. By then, I believe I was 5 seasons in on a podcast. I started doing some video, then I stopped video, because when I came back home that October from 2018 all the way to 2019, I had nothing to do but to really just do stuff for Qui Talks. So I was just seeing what can happen. I was literally putting out videos, creating podcasts, because as much as I want to quit, something keeps telling me to keep going. How many of you guys get that feeling? Like something tells you to just keep going. So I just kept going and I just was doing it. I don't know why. I don't know how. It didn't pertain to any celebrities. I still had people watching me, but it wasn't me. Just an FYI. It wasn't me. So then I stopped again. COVID happened. I couldn't meet with the co-host that I had for it. And I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't. Like, I could have kept going. COVID, I'd probably be a whole different person right now, but I wasn't feeling it. And I'm a firm believer that you got to feel it to keep pushing. Especially, this is not a book kind of career where you open up a book and then tells you how to be you. You got to just be you. There's no book that tells me how to be cute. If there is, let me know, because I'd like to buy it. Please. I got interested, way more interested in business. So because I started becoming more interested in business, started doing more marketing, doing a lot more marketing research, I started thinking, oh, I can use this on Qui Talks. Oh, I can use this on Qui Talks. Oh, I can do this with Qui Talks. So while I'm getting clientele for my marketing, yes, my marketing business is growing because I like marketing. It's something I'm good at. It's something I enjoy. And the type of marketing I do is experiential marketing. But during COVID, I was doing digital marketing because, I already had the certificate in it. I grew up with social media and I marketed Qui Talks, QTV. How do you think I did the YouTubes and social media and all that stuff? How do you think I got where I was? I was a really good marketer. I still am. Still own my business. Still have it operating. Yes. So by the time we got to Atlanta, it was a family trip. Me, my mom, my sister. My sister and I were asked to go to California to help with the COVID vaccines. Well, just with the whole COVID nonsense, period. They were just asking anybody who had business administration skills or anybody to just help. We literally landed in Atlanta. By the second day, we went back to New York, packed our stuff, and ended up back in California. Now, mind you, I haven't been to California in a whole year. It's been a year since I've been there. I was itching to go back. So when I got this opportunity, I was like, hell yeah, I'm going. And they pay for me. I ain't got to stress about bills. Hell yeah. Who wouldn't? I got back there and I didn't do Qui Talks. I just wanted to be there. I just wanted to feel it, to just be there. And then I was asked to come back home. I was only supposed to be there for 3 months and now I was asked to come back home. And I was mad at myself because I couldn't believe that I was actually in California. I didn't have to really work. Well, I did have to work, but there were controllable hours. And the really controllable hours. I had like 4-day, 5-day weekends. I had a car. I had a place to live. I didn't have any bills to pay. And you didn't do Qui Talks? Are you stupid? So, of course, I go back to California. Of course. Why not? So I go back to California, and this time I had a plan. I already revamped the Qui Talks show. I had everything set. I had a whole pitch deck. I had my treatment. I had everything ready. As soon as I land in California, we hit the ground running. That's the correct terminology, right? We hit it running. And I went right into season 6 for Qui Talks. And I could not tell you how happy I was. I was happy for various reasons. I'll tell you about the stress part after, but I was happy because I was doing it the way I wanted to do it. I was doing it with less personal stress. And I had a game plan. I had things mapped out for me to get right into it. And also, my own personal life was getting balanced for various reasons. I was running. I was seeing a therapist regularly. I was journaling. Well, not fully, but semi-journaling. And I was balanced. I was a lot more balanced until I wasn't. Work started getting stressful. I also started getting stressed out with the show because I haven't been on screen in so many years. My mental started acting up again. I stopped working out as much. I wasn't eating properly. I stopped journaling. I stopped meditating. My brain went crazy. So with season 6, thank you, Jesus, it ended up going great because once I was done, I was done. But before that, things were not where it's supposed to be. After I finished season 6, got through the edits, finally came back home. I thought about quitting again. Yes, I thought about quitting Qui Talks again. However, it's so funny. Like, God has different plans, and some people call God the universe. Whoever you pray to, He has plans. They have plans. She has plans, and it's never your plan. Let's just say that it's not your plan. So coming back home, I decided to fully focus on me, my mental, fully focus on my mental, my career in terms of my business that I started, and just do that. It was in February of this year, a couple of months ago. I was having a speed dating event, a virtual speed dating event, which I will do another one because actually it was a really good event. So I want to do another one. I was having a virtual speed dating event, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to continue Qui Talks after that. I was battling. I was really battling. And so I decided, let me just give it a break, just a tad break. I gave it a break for about 2 weeks. And from that 2 weeks, with me getting mentors and moving and learning about people and all of that stuff, my mentor, who never met me a day in his life, we never seen each other up until recently, he did research about me, and he was like, yo, Qui Talks is a gold mine. It is a gold mine. You need to do something with that. And I told him, I was like, I'd love to do something with that, but financially it doesn't make sense for me because I've been doing this for 10 years and I don't get as much money as I could get. And he was like, so change it. He was like, look at all these people. He gave me a few examples. He was like, look at what they're doing. Why not do something like that? And I was just like, ugh. Okay, let me think about it. So as I'm sitting thinking about it, right, I'm just like, if I were to start Qui Talks again, I would have to do it my way. I would have to do it who I am. I am your Black hippie. I love all things hiking, meditation, so all things spiritual, all things outdoorsy, all things, I like to really talk. I want to keep it real. I don't want to do celebrity interviews. If we are doing celebrity interviews, I want to have real conversations. Because when I did my training in LA and New York, they were always asking, what is your show about? And I was always saying, I am the show that keeps it real. Let's keep it real with Qui Talks. And I decided I am going to revamp this show to be authentically cute. And when I felt the most authentic was when I first started my podcast. When I first started season 1 of the Qui Talks podcast, where I was just venting and talking and chilling. That is, if you look at season 1, I literally went to 20 something episodes because I was just truly me. Like, I didn't have to worry about getting dressed, although I love getting dressed, so I don't mind doing this, but I didn't have to do much. It was just me, just genuinely me. So I decided that that's what I'm going to do with this new season. And that's what I'm going to do moving forward. So Qui Talks is just going to be the genuine, authentic Q. And who that is, I am your let's get our life balance kind of girl. Okay? Because been there, done that, more to overcome. There's more to go through, but I'm learning. So the only way we all can do this, especially with us being in our 30s, and I've lost a lot of friends to depression. I know people who are still in it and don't know how to get out of it. I have people who've overcame it and wants to be able to help us now. So I just felt like it's only right. It only makes sense. If we're going to be the Qui Talk show and we're going to sit here and we're going to talk and have real conversations, we're going to talk about real things. I know the New York really got into me. We are going to have real conversations. And what that entails is that the guests that you see coming for this new season, starting May 3rd, y'all. May 3rd. The guests that you see coming for this new season, we are going to have real conversations with them. They're going to tell us the nuts and granny. What is it? The nicks and crannies, the nuts and crannies. How do you say it? Comment below. Let me know. I am really bad with terminology. If you watch all my seasons, I'm bad with them. Very, very bad. But you guys got the gist, right? But we're going to get down to the dirty. We're going to have real conversations and we're going to have healing sessions because I'm about to get a life coach on here to tell us what can we do? What should we do? And she's a certified therapist. So we're about to vent and find solutions this season. You got to vent it out with me and then we're going to find solutions. And this is going to go from all ranges. We're going to have your normals, your regular day people, or we're going to have your loonies, your crazies, and your celebrities. You feel me? We're going to go in all different levels because we all go through it despite no matter what height in life you are in. I was at my highest and still felt at my lowest. And I was at my lowest and felt at my highest. So I'm getting to the point where I want to do this. I want to balance my life. So you guys got to come balance your life with me. All right. So that's what this season is about this year. And you guys heard my story for the first time. Haven't really told my story much. Wow. You want to know something really funny? Just a side note, you guys. For season 6, my first episode, I had a whole meltdown. That whole episode where I'm wearing that red dress and having a conversation with my, I wouldn't say protege, but that's my dude. Having that whole conversation with Blair, Blair was there. I had a whole meltdown with Blair. I am not the same person anymore. I really am not. And the only reason for it is because I incorporate meditation, journaling, my spiritual practice. I still believe in, my one and only dude, or woman. Could be a woman. Could be. But that is all of those things put together literally is teaching me how to balance my life. And then of course I see a therapist regularly. Yeah. So we are all going to group therapy together. I'm not going to have a set schedule right now. What I do have set is that every Tuesdays is going to be group therapy Tuesdays. And that is my interview days. Those are going to be the days where you guys will see live interviews, which I'll be streaming live on YouTube, with my special guests. And we're just going to talk about it all, everything. I always talk about everything. So why not stay in that realm? Yes, we're still going to attend events once event season it started. But once we start getting those invites in again, we're going to attend events. I'm still going to keep you guys entertained with the video of the week. That's going to be all into... We'll see if it's every week, but the reason why I promote these videos and promote businesses and all of that stuff, I'm kind of happy I get to say this now, is because I truly believe in one hand washing the other. And whether they don't wash my hand or they do, I just feel like everybody who worked their behind off to get where they are, especially people of minority background. I wish when people promoted me, I'm not going to say I wish because a lot of people do promote me and I appreciate and I thank you guys for that. It helped me. And if I'm able to give back just a little bit, yeah, absolutely. Yes, I will soon be charging for it. But right now, let's just have fun and see what happens. But as of right now, my thing is that we're all here trying to do the same thing. We're all here trying to get to the same level. And the only way for us to get to it is by helping each other out. And there's a lot of other communities that do that for themselves. But I just feel like our community, we have a really hard time doing that. So my thing is, it only starts with one, right? Well, that's not my thing, but they say that it only starts with one. So either I'm the one by myself, but I know plenty of others who have. But if it starts with me, great. If it doesn't, that's fine. But at the same time, it only takes one. So if I can just start promoting my community and helping my community, then I just feel like I add to the elevation of my community. The same way you have other communities who elevate and help within themselves. They keep their secrets together and yet still help each other. They don't have to like each other. But when it comes to business and building and growing, they take emotion out of it. And I just feel like my community, we need to just learn to do a better job with that. That's it. Some of us are doing it. Some of us still are trying to figure it out. Some of us have helped and have been through stuff and said, you know what, forget it. I'm not doing this no more. And I get it. But at the same time, just think about how many times your kid or somebody else has made you mad, or you've made somebody else mad. And you never know. Sometimes you feel remorse. You just don't say it because, you know, our pride kicks in. But sometimes we feel remorseful and we wish that person would help us again. So just do it for what you want to do. Do how you feel. Don't worry about what somebody else is going to say or be like, girl, you helping that person? Yeah, because it's the community. Because at the end of the day, one hand washes the other. That's been my saying. I know I didn't create that saying, but I firmly believe in it because I can't wash this hand without this hand. It doesn't work. So that's what this season is. I wouldn't say only the season, but the revamping of the show. We're here to balance our life, whether it be a community, whether it be yourself, whether it be another person, but we got to get this right to get all of this right. If you believe in chakras, then you know about the root chakra has to be stable first before we can stand tall. So if you're wobbly at the bottom, you're going to be wobbly at the top. But if you're firm at the bottom, then everything else stays firm. So come balance with me. That's what we're here to do, this new revamped Qui Talks. So the colors are changing, the background is changing, everything is changing, but it's just going to be more authentic. We're going to talk personally. It's just going to be me and you guys having conversation, whether it be story time. Maybe I'll make it a story time. I'm not sure fully what's going to be. I had this revelation last night that I need to get on camera more. I know people's been telling me, they have been telling me, Q, we want to see you more. I know, but I had to fix this before I got on. Not physically, but spiritually, mentally, I had to get there. I battle my demons. We all got demons we battle. I'm battling my demons. I'm getting there. Don't forget, subscribe, because we're going to put out new videos every week. Podcast episode is up every week. We are going to talk. It's going to be more than once a week again. Anytime I'm feeling something, I'm here to chat it with you guys. This is going to be journaling, story time, all of that. Also, go on my website. Go to quitalks.show. I blog daily. Now, I don't call it a blog. I call it a journal. However, it does still have a blog aspect to it. But it's like a Dear Q Talks kind of thing. I will also be accepting Dear Q Talks letters in my email. So shoot me an email. And if you want me to answer a question or you just want to talk it out, let's talk it out. That's what we're going to do. Q Talks is about talking. We're here to talk it all out. Okay, we're going to talk it out. So, with that being said, till later.